What if the city you built your empire in suddenly erupted in chaos? What if everything you worked for was threatened not by competitors or market crashes, but by something far more unpredictable, unrest in the streets, a society on the brink? Los Angeles was burning, figuratively and almost literally, as protests, frustrations, and anger spilled over into the neighborhoods Elon Musk had once seen as a beacon for innovation and opportunity. The streets that had witnessed the rise of Tesla factories and SpaceX development centers now echoed with the sounds of shouting crowds and clashing forces. Amid this growing storm, Elon Musk stood at a crossroads, torn between his dream to colonize Mars and the very real turmoil unfolding on Earth below him. He felt the weight of it all, the responsibility, the fear, the criticism, but also a fierce determination. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? He said in a rare public statement broadcast to millions. The words weren't just for his audience, they were a mantra he clung to as his world spun wildly out of control. Elon's life was never simple. Born in South Africa, he'd spent decades building what many called a real-life Tony Stark legacy, revolutionizing electric cars, pushing the boundaries of private space travel, and dreaming of a future where humanity thrived beyond Earth. But even the greatest visionaries face moments when their foundations shake. The unrest in Los Angeles wasn't just news, it was personal. Factories halted, deliveries delayed, and relationships frayed as the city's chaos reached into every corner of his empire. Critics accused him of being out of touch, of prioritizing Mars while ignoring Earth's problems. But for Elon, the Mars project wasn't an escape, it was the ultimate hope. A chance to save humanity from its self-inflicted wounds. Behind closed doors, he wrestled with the weight of expectation and doubt. Every headline felt like a blow, every protest a reminder that the world was watching, and judging. The night was thick with tension as Elon paced through the glass walls of his office overlooking the darkened skyline of Los Angeles. His mind raced through scenarios, strategy meetings, and the voices of loved ones who urged him to slow down, to be present. But slowing down felt impossible. The Mars mission was ticking forward, fragile and precious. In the distance, sirens wailed, a grim soundtrack to a city unraveling. The question wasn't just about survival, it was about legacy. Could Elon Musk hold on to his vision when the ground beneath him seemed ready to collapse? Or would the fires in the streets ignite a different kind of change, one that forced him to rethink everything he stood for? As dawn approached, Elon sat quietly, eyes fixed on a model of the Starship rocket that promised to carry humanity to a new world. It was a symbol of hope amid the chaos, a reminder that even in the darkest hours, the future could be rewritten. This is not just a story about unrest or rockets, it's a story about resilience, sacrifice, and the human spirit. As you follow Elon's journey through turmoil and transformation, consider your own struggles. What keeps you moving forward when everything seems lost? What fuels your fight for a better tomorrow? This story might just spark a new beginning, not only for Elon Musk but for all of us striving to find hope in uncertain times. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The city of Los Angeles, a sprawling metropolis known for its sun-drenched streets and endless possibilities, was now a tinderbox waiting to ignite. The unrest that had simmered beneath the surface for months finally exploded into a chaotic storm of protests, riots, and calls for change. For Elon Musk, this upheaval was more than just a headline, it was a direct challenge to everything he had built and believed in. The factories he had invested millions in were at risk. Employees feared for their safety. Supply chains were disrupted. And the public, divided and volatile, debated fiercely about his role. Elon had never been one to shy away from controversy. His tweets alone could move markets, stir debates, and reshape public opinion overnight. But this moment was different. It was raw, unpredictable, and personal. He had to speak out, not just as a CEO or entrepreneur, but as someone who genuinely cared about the future of humanity. On a cold evening, just after the sun dipped below the smoggy horizon, Elon stepped in front of a live camera feed, his expression serious but resolute. "Los Angeles is my home. It's a city that represents the dreams and challenges of our generation," he began. "I hear your voices. I see your pain. And while my focus remains on pioneering humanity's future on Mars, I am committed to doing everything in my power to help this city heal and grow." The statement was met with mixed reactions. Some praised his acknowledgement, while others accused him of grandstanding or focusing too much on space while Earth burned. But Elon knew he had to walk a fine line, balancing the urgent needs of the present with his vision for the future. The Mars project, after all, was not an escape but a necessary evolution. In his mind, Earth was fragile, and humanity's survival depended on expanding beyond one planet. The research and development teams at SpaceX were pushing the boundaries every day. The Starship prototypes were taking shape in a vast hangar outside Los Angeles, where engineers worked tirelessly through nights lit only by fluorescent bulbs and the glow of computer screens. Despite the unrest outside, innovation marched on inside. Elon found solace in the hum of machinery and the buzz of ideas. Here, he was not just a businessman, he was a dreamer, a builder, and a leader with a mission bigger than himself. But the challenges were mounting. Reports came in daily about factories being blocked, shipments delayed, and tensions rising among the workforce. Elon's personal security team had to navigate through protest zones just to ensure his safe passage between sites. The strain began to show. In private moments, he confided to close advisors that he felt torn between two worlds, the immediate crisis demanding attention and the long-term vision driving his passion. This tension created sleepless nights and moments of doubt. What if his focus on Mars was seen as abandoning the very people who helped build his empire? What if the dream of colonizing another planet was just a selfish escape? Yet, every morning, he reminded himself why the Mars mission mattered. It was about hope, survival, and inspiring generations to believe in something greater than their struggles. Elon's upbringing in South Africa had instilled in him a relentless drive. Growing up, he faced bullying and isolation but also nurtured a fierce curiosity and an unyielding belief in technology's power to change lives. His early ventures in software and electric vehicles were marked by setbacks and breakthroughs, shaping a resilient spirit that refused to quit. The unrest in Los Angeles was just another challenge to face head-on. His relationships, both personal and professional, also bore the strain. Close friends reached out with concern, some questioned his priorities, while others stood firmly by his side, encouraging him to stay true to his course. The media spotlight was unforgiving, dissecting every word and action. In the midst of this, Elon's rare moments of vulnerability surfaced. He missed the simplicity of focused work, the quiet nights spent dreaming about space without the noise of conflict. Yet, he found unexpected moments of connection. One evening, a local community leader invited him to a neighborhood meeting amid the unrest. Reluctantly, Elon agreed. The room was filled with diverse voices, activists, residents, small business owners, all expressing frustration and hope. Elon listened more than he spoke, absorbing stories of struggle and resilience. It was a humbling experience that reminded him of the human faces behind the headlines. From this meeting, a spark of an idea took root, a way to bridge his ambitions with the immediate needs of Los Angeles. The next day, plans began forming for a new initiative focused on innovation hubs that could empower local communities with education, jobs, and technology access. This pivot wasn't a retreat but a new kind of leadership, one that recognized that building the future required addressing the present. Meanwhile, SpaceX's engineers made a breakthrough in propulsion technology, a critical step toward making Mars colonization feasible. Elon shared the news in a press conference, juxtaposing hope with harsh realities. "This moment in history is about balance," he said. "We must push the boundaries of what's possible while never losing sight of our responsibility here on Earth." The public's response was cautious but curious. Some skeptics softened, seeing the sincerity in Elon's efforts. Yet, others remained critical, holding him accountable for the social issues unfolding in the city. The tension remained high. One night, a fire broke out near a Tesla factory in a neighborhood impacted by the unrest. Elon rushed to the scene, witnessing firsthand the destruction and fear in people's eyes. The event shook him deeply. It was a reminder that progress came with costs, and leadership meant more than ambition, it meant empathy and action. In the days that followed, Elon met with city officials, activists, and community organizers to coordinate relief efforts and ensure safety for workers and residents. These interactions changed him. He realized that technology alone couldn't solve society's deepest problems, it required collaboration and compassion. As the weeks passed, Elon's public statements shifted tone. He spoke not just of rockets and innovation but of healing, unity, and shared futures. The Mars project continued but was now part of a broader narrative that included rebuilding and strengthening communities on Earth. The unrest in Los Angeles remained, but so did the spark of change. Elon's journey was far from over. Behind the headlines, he wrestled with his own humanity, his fears, hopes, and the weight of legacy. Each challenge became a lesson in resilience, teaching him that the path to the stars must begin with the courage to face the fires at home. What kept Elon moving forward? It was a blend of vision and vulnerability, a fierce belief in the power of dreams, tempered by a growing understanding of the world's complexities. As Los Angeles slowly found its footing amid the chaos, Elon Musk stood ready to lead, not just as a pioneer of space but as a man learning to balance the stars with the earth beneath his feet. This story is not just about a man or a mission. It's about all of us. About how, even in the darkest times, hope can be found in the most unexpected places. So as you reflect on Elon's journey, ask yourself, what drives you forward when everything feels uncertain? What dreams do you hold that can light the way through the storm? The answers might surprise you, and just might inspire a new beginning. Elon Musk's journey didn't begin in the sprawling cities of America or the cutting-edge labs of Silicon Valley, it began in Pretoria, South Africa, where a young boy harbored dreams far bigger than his small world. Born to a Canadian mother and South African father, Elon's early years were marked by contradictions, a childhood of privilege shadowed by loneliness and relentless bullying at school. He was often called strange, a quiet boy lost in books about science and space, his mind always racing ahead to worlds far beyond his reach. His parents, supportive but sometimes overwhelmed by his intensity, watched as their son dove into computers and technology at an age when most kids were playing outside. It was clear early on that Elon was different, not just in intellect but in spirit. He read voraciously, teaching himself programming by the age of 12, creating and selling his first video game. Yet, beneath the surface, the isolation gnawed at him. His relationship with his father was complicated, a mix of admiration and tension that fueled Elon's determination to forge his own path. He dreamed of leaving South Africa, seeking new horizons where his ideas could take flight. That escape led him to Canada and eventually the United States, a land he saw as the ultimate stage for innovation. But even in America, life was far from easy. The transition was jarring, filled with cultural shifts and financial struggles. At the University of Pennsylvania, Elon pushed himself academically while nurturing ambitions that stretched beyond any classroom. The dot-com boom offered opportunities, and his early startups, Zip2 and PayPal, became stepping stones that propelled him into the tech elite. Yet, despite growing success, Elon's personal life was marked by complexity and conflict. Relationships were intense but often fraught. The pressure to succeed weighed heavily, leaving little room for normalcy or rest. Friendships formed and faded as the demands of building companies consumed him. Family ties remained important but distant, shaped by the vast commitments pulling him in every direction. His psychology was a tapestry of contradictions, a visionary mind battling inner doubts, a fiercely independent spirit craving connection. Elon's emotional memories were a blend of triumph and pain. He recalled nights working in near isolation, driven by a sense of urgency that time was slipping away. He remembered the sting of failures, the public scrutiny, and the loneliness that came with fame. But he also remembered moments of profound joy, launches that defied expectations, breakthroughs that promised a better future, and the rare but precious connections with those who understood his mission. These experiences laid the foundation for the man he became, resilient, relentless, and deeply complex. His character was shaped not just by success but by the struggles that tested him. Behind the headlines and the bold statements was a person grappling with the cost of greatness. This understanding of Elon's past is crucial to grasp the motivations driving his actions amid the current turmoil. His vision of Mars was more than a project, it was a legacy born from a lifetime of overcoming obstacles and defying limits. Yet, as unrest gripped Los Angeles, these past wounds resurfaced. The city's chaos mirrored his internal battles. Moments of hope shattered by setbacks, moments of doubt replaced by renewed purpose. Central to Elon's story were the relationships that defined him, family, friends, and mentors who influenced his path. His mother, May Musk, was a pillar of strength and wisdom, a guiding force who nurtured his dreams and reminded him of the importance of balance and empathy. Despite distance and differing views, their bond remained unbreakable. Love, too, played a complicated role. Past romances and partnerships were marked by passion but also strain, as the demands of Elon's ambitions often collided with the needs of intimacy and connection. Friendships were a refuge but also a challenge, as the intensity of his life created barriers few could cross. These relationships shaped his emotional landscape, providing both motivation and moments of vulnerability. They illuminated the tensions between the man who sought to change the world and the human who needed love and understanding. In the midst of the current crisis, these connections were tested anew. As Los Angeles burned with unrest, Elon found himself reaching out more, seeking counsel, comfort, and perspective. Trusted advisors reminded him that leadership required more than vision, it demanded humility and listening. Family urged him to slow down and remember the people behind the headlines. Friends offered support and challenged him to consider new approaches. These dynamics brought depth to Elon's character, showing a man not defined solely by achievements but by his capacity for growth and reflection. His psychology was a study in contrasts, ambition paired with insecurity, genius mingled with doubt, drive tempered by the need for connection. These layers made his journey compelling and relatable. Elon's backstory was not just a biography but the emotional soil from which his decisions and actions grew. It explained why he clung so fiercely to the Mars project. It was a symbol of hope, a way to rise above the fractures of Earth. But it also explained why the unrest in Los Angeles cut so deeply. It challenged his identity, forcing him to confront the gap between vision and reality, between dreams and the messy complexity of human society. As the protests surged and the city's streets became battlegrounds, Elon's past and present collided. He was a man haunted by memories of isolation, driven by dreams of salvation, and now faced with a world demanding not just innovation but compassion and responsibility. This inner conflict would define the next chapter of his story. The stakes were higher than ever, not just for the success of a mission to Mars but for the soul of a man and the future of a city. Elon's character, forged in the fires of adversity and fueled by unyielding hope, was ready to face the rising storm. The journey ahead would test his limits, challenge his beliefs, and ultimately reshape his legacy. Understanding where Elon came from, his struggles, his relationships, and his psychology was key to understanding the choices he would make in the face of growing unrest. It was a story about resilience and reinvention, about the power of vision and the price of leadership. As the city and its people cried out for change, Elon Musk prepared to listen, to act, and to evolve. This was only the beginning. The unrest in Los Angeles was no longer a distant headline, it was a living, breathing crisis unfolding at Elon Musk's doorstep. The tension had escalated quickly, from peaceful protests demanding justice and change to clashes between frustrated citizens and overwhelmed law enforcement. For Elon, it was a battleground not just of ideals but of survival for his companies, employees, and the city he considered home. The rising conflict began with a sudden shutdown of critical supply routes into Tesla's Fremont factory, halting production lines and threatening millions in revenue. Workers, some sympathetic to the protesters' cause and others fearing for their safety, found themselves caught in the middle. Internal communication lines buzzed non-stop with urgent messages, conflicting reports, and rising anxiety. Elon, accustomed to managing complex challenges, now faced a situation layered with emotional and political complexity he hadn't encountered before. The mounting discord created a pressure cooker environment. Meetings that once focused on product timelines turned into crisis management sessions. His leadership was questioned publicly, with some accusing him of indifference or worse, profiteering amid chaos. Others saw him as a visionary wrongly targeted for the failings of a broken system. Meanwhile, Elon's own reactions were conflicted. He felt helpless when an employee was injured during a street confrontation near a factory, helpless when a beloved community center supporting STEM education was vandalized. These moments of crisis punctuated the story with sharp emotional peaks, shaking his resolve but never extinguishing it. The climax, hope, climax pattern played out relentlessly. After days of violent protests, a moment of hope appeared when local activists reached out to SpaceX and Tesla with a proposal for partnership, a shared effort to create jobs and educational programs aimed at addressing some root causes of unrest. Elon saw in this an opportunity to bridge the widening gap between innovation and inclusion. But just as plans began to take shape, a new wave of violence erupted after a controversial police shooting, plunging the city back into turmoil. Elon's response was swift but cautious. He issued a public statement calling for peace, empathy, and dialogue, acknowledging the pain felt across the community while reiterating his commitment to long-term solutions. This delicate balance, between hope and harsh reality, became the emotional core of the unfolding drama. The clash of interests, ideals, and fears created an atmosphere thick with tension. At times, Elon felt as if he was standing at the edge of a precipice, the future uncertain and fragile. The stakes extended beyond business. His personal relationships were strained under the weight of constant news cycles and public scrutiny. His closest advisors debated strategies, some urging him to double down on the Mars project as an escape, others insisting that his focus must shift entirely to Earth's immediate problems. Elon himself wrestled with the same internal conflict that had defined much of his life, ambition versus responsibility, vision versus reality. The city's unrest challenged not only his leadership but his identity. Through vivid scenes, the story captured moments of both chaos and calm. One night, Elon walked through a neighborhood scarred by fire and graffiti, meeting with residents who shared stories of loss and resilience. The descriptions painted a stark picture of a city divided, streets filled with ash and smoke, windows shattered, but also voices determined to rebuild and heal. These encounters deepened Elon's understanding, moving beyond statistics and headlines to the lived experiences of people caught in the storm. This climactic journey marked a turning point. Elon began to see that solutions required more than technology, they required empathy, collaboration, and humility. He committed to redirecting resources toward community programs and launched a task force to partner with local leaders. Yet, the path was far from smooth. Each step forward was met with resistance, from skeptics questioning motives to unexpected logistical hurdles. The story maintained tension through these ups and downs, underscoring the reality that progress was rarely linear. The emotional climax came during a tense city council meeting broadcast live, where Elon faced tough questions from activists, officials, and citizens alike. A heated exchange revealed deep fractures but also moments of shared vision. When a community elder spoke of hope for the future, Elon felt a surge of determination, a reminder that even amidst conflict, connection was possible. This moment was both a peak of tension and a beacon of optimism, embodying the climax, hope, climax rhythm. The narrative continued to build as Elon balanced the escalating unrest with the unyielding drive to push the Mars project forward. He knew that while Los Angeles burned, the future of humanity depended on innovation and exploration. His teams worked tirelessly, their breakthroughs a counterpoint to the city's turmoil. The contrast highlighted the complex duality of Elon's world, simultaneously rooted in urgent social issues and the quest for cosmic discovery. The rising conflict thus unfolded as a layered, multidimensional story of challenge and hope. Elon Musk was not just a CEO navigating crisis, he was a man evolving through fire, learning to integrate vision with compassion, ambition with accountability. The tension kept the story compelling, while the glimpses of hope ensured it never became despairing. The chapter ended with a quiet moment of reflection, Elon gazing out over the city skyline at dawn, the glow of early morning mingling with the shadows of the night's chaos. He thought about the people he had met, the obstacles ahead, and the fragile hope that sustained him. The story left the reader with a powerful question: could a man so focused on the stars find the strength to heal the earth beneath his feet? This rising conflict was not just external but internal, a battle for identity, purpose, and legacy. And it was far from over. The unexpected turn in Elon Musk's journey came when the unrest in Los Angeles reached a boiling point that forced him to shift gears from boardroom strategies and rocket designs to direct engagement with the city's communities. It wasn't planned. One evening, after a particularly volatile protest had escalated near a Tesla distribution center, Elon found himself compelled to step beyond the confines of his usual environment. He left his security detail behind for a brief moment, walking into the crowd amid chants, signs, and a palpable mixture of anger and hope. The air was thick with tension, yet beneath the surface was a yearning for change that resonated deeply with him. This marked the beginning of a climactic journey, one filled with vivid, dramatic scenes and personal discovery. The city was a living, breathing character itself, its streets a patchwork of destruction and resilience. The smell of smoke lingered over charred storefronts, but murals painted on walls told stories of unity and resistance. Elon moved through this landscape, his presence both magnetic and polarizing. Some welcomed him cautiously, others with suspicion, and a few with outright hostility. These encounters were raw and unfiltered. One woman, a single mother who had lost her small business in the fires, confronted Elon with tears and fury, demanding answers and accountability. Elon listened, his usual quick retorts replaced by silence and reflection. The vulnerability of that moment peeled back layers of detachment. He realized that innovation alone couldn't heal these wounds, it required genuine connection and empathy. His security team, initially uneasy about his decision to mingle in the unrest, soon recognized the importance of this engagement. Over the following weeks, Elon committed to visiting different neighborhoods, schools, and community centers, immersing himself in stories that ranged from heartbreaking to inspiring. The vivid description of these scenes brought the story alive. Children gathered around STEM workshops funded by Musk's philanthropy, activists organizing peaceful demonstrations, local artists reclaiming their streets with vibrant murals. Each location painted a complex picture of a city grappling with pain but refusing to surrender hope. Alongside this emotional journey was a mounting professional challenge. SpaceX's Mars project, despite the turmoil, was pushing forward with unprecedented breakthroughs. The engineers, fueled by Elon's passion, achieved a critical milestone, a successful test flight of a new prototype rocket engine designed to improve fuel efficiency and safety for interplanetary travel. This achievement injected renewed energy into the mission, a symbolic beacon amid the chaos. Yet, the juxtaposition was stark. While rockets soared toward the heavens, parts of Los Angeles seemed to be falling apart. Elon wrestled with this contradiction daily. The story wove these threads together with rich, detailed imagery. The hum of machinery in SpaceX's hangars, contrasted with the distant sounds of sirens and protests echoing through the city. This duality became a metaphor for Elon's internal conflict, his heart torn between the future of humanity and the urgent needs of his community. The journey took another unexpected turn when Elon initiated a bold new program, Innovate LA. It was a multifaceted initiative aimed at empowering local youth through technology education, job training, and entrepreneurship support. Elon envisioned it as a bridge connecting his Mars ambitions with the tangible realities of urban renewal. The program included partnerships with schools, non-profit organizations, and private companies, creating a network of opportunity in neighborhoods hardest hit by unrest. The narrative dove deep into the program's rollout, vividly describing workshops where teenagers built robots, coding boot camps in refurbished community centers, and mentorship sessions led by SpaceX engineers and Tesla technicians. These moments offered glimmers of hope and tangible proof that progress was possible. The emotional stakes climbed as Elon encountered resistance from skeptics who questioned the sincerity and effectiveness of his efforts. Town hall meetings became forums of heated debate, where Elon had to defend his vision and listen carefully to community leaders who demanded transparency and respect. These scenes underscored the ongoing tension between innovation and social justice, reminding readers that meaningful change is complex and often uncomfortable. The climactic journey reached a pivotal moment when a violent incident erupted during a protest near one of Tesla's facilities. A clash between demonstrators and security personnel resulted in injuries and widespread media coverage. Elon faced a critical decision, whether to escalate security measures or double down on community engagement. Choosing the latter, he held a public forum, inviting activists, employees, and city officials to speak openly. The vivid description of this event captured raw emotions and the charged atmosphere, voices trembling with anger and hope, moments of confrontation and reconciliation, the fragile threads of trust being woven and unraveled in real time. This event marked a profound turning point in the story. Elon's willingness to confront uncomfortable truths and invite dialogue resonated with many, gradually shifting public perception. The chapter closed with a powerful scene of Elon standing on a rooftop overlooking the city as dawn broke, the skyline framed by a rising sun. The imagery evoked both the literal and metaphorical dawn of a new chapter. One where challenges remained but hope was no longer elusive. This climactic journey was not only about external events but a transformative passage for Elon himself. He emerged with a deeper understanding of leadership, one that blended vision with humility, ambition with empathy. The vivid, detailed storytelling brought readers along for the ride, making them feel the weight of every step and the promise of every breakthrough. Through this chapter, the story reaffirmed its central theme, that progress is not a straight path but a journey full of hardships, lessons, and unexpected turns. Elon Musk's path toward Mars had become inseparable from his commitment to healing the city he called home, reflecting a new maturity and a profound sense of responsibility. The adventure was far from over, but the course had shifted. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it felt possible. The emotional climax of Elon Musk's journey amid the turmoil in Los Angeles arrived with a seismic revelation that shook both him and the city to their core. It came on a cool evening, during a town hall meeting packed with community members, activists, city officials, and employees from Tesla and SpaceX. The room buzzed with anticipation and tension, the air heavy with unspoken fears and hopes. Elon stood at the front, his usual confident demeanor tempered by the weight of the moment. The meeting was meant to be a forum for dialogue, but it quickly escalated into a crucible of raw emotion and revelation. An unexpected truth surfaced when a young community organizer took the microphone. She spoke not just of the immediate unrest but of systemic inequalities that had long been ignored, housing instability, underfunded schools, job scarcity, and the erosion of trust between citizens and institutions. Her words cut through the corporate jargon and technological dreams, laying bare the human cost behind the headlines. Elon listened, visibly moved, as she detailed stories of families displaced by gentrification, youth caught in cycles of violence, and neighborhoods left behind by progress. This moment was the emotional peak of the story, a confrontation with reality that demanded more than promises or innovation, it demanded accountability and empathy. The climax, hope, climax pattern surged through the meeting. Following her speech, a local teacher stood up, sharing stories of children inspired by the STEM workshops Elon's initiatives had funded. She described how these programs sparked new ambitions, giving students hope for a future beyond their circumstances. The room's mood shifted slightly, hope kindling amidst the tension. But then came another harsh truth from a police officer, who recounted the difficulties law enforcement faced in balancing safety and community trust amid the unrest. His testimony added complexity and nuance, reminding everyone that solutions required understanding all perspectives. The emotional tension was palpable. Elon's own response was a mixture of vulnerability and determination. He admitted that, for too long, he had been focused on Mars and technological milestones without fully grasping the immediate struggles of the city around him. This admission marked a turning point in his character development, a rare moment of humility from a man often seen as unyielding. He pledged renewed commitment to integrating social justice with innovation, recognizing that the two must go hand in hand for lasting change. The narrative described Elon's tone and body language in detail. The slight slump of his shoulders, the earnest gaze, the pauses that revealed thoughtfulness rather than rehearsed lines. This vivid portrayal helped readers feel the depth of his emotional transformation. The meeting concluded with a proposal to form a community advisory board, composed of diverse voices to guide Tesla and SpaceX's local initiatives. This was not just a gesture but a structural shift toward inclusivity and accountability. The emotional climax extended beyond the meeting as Elon returned to his office late that night, grappling with the enormity of what he had learned and the responsibility he now carried. The story painted a vivid scene, Elon alone, staring out over the city lights, the glow both beautiful and haunting. He reflected on his childhood struggles, the loneliness he had known, and the dreams that had driven him. The unrest was no longer just a news story, it was personal, entwined with his own history of adversity and hope. Yet, even in this emotional peak, there was a glimmer of hope. Elon's renewed perspective energized his teams and sparked new collaborations across sectors. Joint efforts between city officials, nonprofits, and Musk's companies began to take shape, focusing on sustainable development, affordable housing projects, and workforce training programs. These initiatives, while still in their infancy, represented concrete steps forward. But just as hope gained momentum, another climax arrived, a shocking revelation that rocked the foundation of Elon's plans. A whistleblower within Tesla revealed serious safety oversights during the recent surge in production, linked to the stress of managing unrest and rapid expansion. This disclosure made headlines and invited government scrutiny. Elon faced harsh criticism, and his credibility was on the line. This second climax reignited tension, forcing Elon to confront the imperfect reality of his ambitions and the fallibility of his organizations. The narrative captured the emotional roller coaster, the public backlash, the internal investigations, and the personal toll on Elon and his leadership team. Through it all, Elon maintained a delicate balance of accountability and resolve, emphasizing transparency and swift corrective action. This sequence underscored the theme that progress is fraught with setbacks but fueled by resilience. The chapter closed with Elon addressing a press conference, his voice steady but imbued with urgency and sincerity. He spoke candidly about mistakes, lessons learned, and the unwavering commitment to both Mars and Earth. The closing lines left readers with a powerful message: in every failure lies the seed of growth. Our journey is not just to reach new worlds but to build a better world here and now. This emotional climax delivered a profound lesson about leadership, vulnerability, and the intertwined nature of innovation and humanity. It invited readers to reflect on the complexities of change and the courage it takes to face uncomfortable truths while holding on to hope. Elon Musk's story, through this chapter, evolved from a tale of technological ambition to a deeply human narrative of growth, connection, and responsibility. The resolution and reflection phase of Elon Musk's journey in Los Angeles came with a profound sense of closure but also a renewed beginning. After months of navigating unrest, setbacks, and moments of hope, Elon found himself at a crossroads where personal growth and public responsibility intersected. The city, battered but resilient, mirrored his own transformation. The chapter opened with Elon standing in a newly inaugurated community center in South Los Angeles, one of the flagship projects of the Innovate LA initiative. The building buzzed with energy as children coded on laptops, teenagers experimented with robotics kits, and local leaders gathered for a celebration. The vivid descriptions of the space captured both the bright optimism and the scars of the past, colorful murals honoring civil rights activists adorned the walls, and the hum of excited voices filled the air. Elon moved through the crowd with a sense of quiet pride and humility. This moment symbolized not just a physical achievement but a philosophical resolution. The story wove in his reflections on what he had learned, that innovation without inclusion was hollow, that leadership required listening as much as vision, and that the future depended on nurturing potential at every level. His journey from isolation to connection became the heart of the narrative. Elon's relationships, once strained by distance and ambition, had deepened. He had reconciled with longtime advisors who challenged him to see beyond numbers and charts. He had forged new bonds with activists and educators who brought fresh perspectives. His team at SpaceX and Tesla rallied around a shared mission that was now about more than products, it was about people. The story detailed conversations filled with candor and warmth, painting a picture of collaboration and mutual respect. This chapter also explored the evolution of Elon's character through subtle but powerful changes. He became more present, more attuned to the emotions and needs of those around him. The lonely genius archetype softened into a leader who embraced vulnerability as a strength. These developments were shown through actions, Elon taking time to mentor young innovators, joining community events without media fanfare, and publicly acknowledging past missteps. The emotional tone was hopeful yet grounded, emphasizing growth rather than perfection. The resolution extended to the Mars project, which remained central but was now integrated with Earth-focused priorities. Elon announced a strategic shift to allocate more resources towards sustainable technologies that could benefit cities like Los Angeles. This decision underscored the interconnectedness of his ambitions, the idea that reaching for the stars should not come at the expense of caring for our home planet. The vivid description of SpaceX facilities reflected this dual focus, cutting-edge research happening alongside green energy initiatives and urban partnerships. The story introduced expert perspectives to deepen the resolution. Interviews with urban planners, social scientists, and technologists highlighted the challenges and potential of blending innovation with social equity. Their insights provided a broader context, illustrating how Elon's efforts fit into a global movement toward inclusive progress. These reflections enriched the narrative, giving readers a multifaceted understanding of the stakes involved. The chapter also delivered a shocking punchline that reframed the entire story. In a surprise announcement, Elon revealed plans to create a new foundation dedicated exclusively to addressing systemic inequalities in urban areas, funded by a significant portion of his personal wealth. This foundation would operate independently of his companies, signaling a long-term commitment to social justice. The revelation stunned both supporters and critics, prompting widespread discussion about the role of billionaires in societal change. This moment encapsulated the story's core message, that true leadership involves sacrifice, vision, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable realities. The closing lines reflected on life's unpredictability and the enduring power of love and community to guide us through adversity. Elon's voice, recorded in a heartfelt speech, resonated with authenticity. Life is full of surprises, but love will always lead the way. Our greatest achievements are not rockets or cars but the lives we touch and the futures we inspire. The chapter ended on a note of cautious optimism, inviting readers to consider their own role in shaping a better world. The story's detailed descriptions, strong emotional currents, and character development combined to leave a lasting impact. It was a tale not just of a man or a city but of the human spirit's capacity for change and connection. Elon Musk's journey through Los Angeles unrest became a beacon of hope, a testament to resilience, and a call to action for innovation grounded in empathy and justice. As the unrest in Los Angeles gradually shifted from chaos to cautious rebuilding, Elon Musk found himself navigating new challenges that tested his leadership and vision in unexpected ways. The aftermath of conflict was not a clean slate but a complex mosaic of opportunities and obstacles, requiring delicate balance between innovation, community trust, and personal conviction. The chapter opened with Elon back in the SpaceX Command Center, surrounded by screens tracking rocket tests and Mars mission progress, but his thoughts were anchored in the city's ongoing recovery. The stark contrast between interplanetary ambitions and earthly struggles framed the narrative tension. Elon grappled with the realization that breakthroughs in technology could only be meaningful if paired with tangible improvements in human lives. This internal conflict deepened his character, adding layers of empathy and resolve. The story wove detailed descriptions of the SpaceX facility's hum and glow, where scientists celebrated a successful prototype launch even as news feeds highlighted delays in rebuilding efforts across Los Angeles neighborhoods. Elon's dual focus on Mars and the city illustrated a man pulled in two directions but determined to unify them. As the Innovate LA initiative expanded, new partnerships emerged with local businesses, nonprofits, and educational institutions. Elon's presence became a catalyst for collaboration, bringing together diverse stakeholders around common goals. These alliances were depicted through vibrant scenes of community meetings, tech workshops, and job fairs. Yet, beneath the surface, tension simmered. Skepticism persisted among some residents who questioned the sincerity of corporate involvement, while political factions debated funding priorities and accountability. Elon faced criticism from activists demanding faster results and transparency, and from investors wary of shifting focus from Mars to social programs. This complex landscape underscored the reality that progress was neither linear nor universally accepted. The narrative captured this tension through candid dialogues and vivid conflict scenes, making the story feel immediate and real. In the midst of these challenges, Elon's personal life came into sharper focus. The pressures of public scrutiny, demanding schedules, and the weight of expectations strained his relationships. The story delved into moments of quiet reflection and private conversations with close confidants, revealing vulnerabilities beneath the public persona. Elon wrestled with feelings of isolation even as he worked to build community connections. These intimate glimpses humanized the narrative, showing the cost of leadership on a deeply personal level. A turning point arrived when a young engineer from SpaceX, inspired by the community programs, proposed a project to develop affordable green housing technologies that could be implemented in Los Angeles. Elon enthusiastically supported this idea, seeing it as a tangible bridge between his space ambitions and social commitments. The chapter described the collaborative development process in detail, teams brainstorming, prototyping, testing materials, painting a vivid picture of innovation in action with a social conscience. This project became a symbol of hope and practical progress, energizing both engineers and community members. However, the road was not without setbacks. Supply chain disruptions, funding challenges, and bureaucratic hurdles slowed implementation, sparking frustration among stakeholders. Elon's leadership was tested again as he navigated these obstacles with patience and adaptability. The story showed how setbacks became opportunities for learning and growth, emphasizing resilience and problem-solving. Meanwhile, media narratives oscillated between praise for Elon's expanded vision and skepticism about the feasibility of merging space exploration with urban renewal. Public opinion was fractured, adding pressure to an already volatile situation. Elon responded with transparency, hosting open forums and Q&A sessions, using candid communication to build trust. These scenes were described with rich detail, crowds engaged in spirited discussions, Elon answering tough questions with humility and honesty. The emotional undercurrent highlighted the importance of dialogue in healing divides. The chapter also explored Elon's evolving philosophy on leadership and innovation. Interviews with Elon's mentors and collaborators offered insight into his changing approach, embracing patience, valuing diverse perspectives, and prioritizing impact over speed. These reflections added depth, framing the story within broader themes of growth and responsibility. As the chapter drew to a close, Elon visited a neighborhood where the green housing prototype was set to be built. Walking through streets still marked by unrest but filled with determination, he met families eager for change. Their stories of struggle and resilience resonated deeply, reinforcing Elon's commitment. The vivid imagery of rebuilding efforts, workers installing solar panels, children playing in newly cleaned parks, evoked a sense of renewal and possibility. The chapter ended with Elon standing at a construction site at sunset, gazing toward the horizon with a mix of hope and resolve. The narrative left readers with the sense that while the path ahead was fraught with challenges, it was also rich with promise. Elon Musk's journey continued to intertwine the dreams of Mars with the urgent needs of Earth, embodying a leadership that sought to bridge worlds both literal and metaphorical. As Elon Musk's efforts to rebuild Los Angeles progressed, the complexities of intertwining technological innovation with social justice became more pronounced. The city was no longer just a backdrop but an active participant in his journey, a living laboratory of challenges and opportunities. The chapter opened with Elon convening a strategic summit at Tesla headquarters, bringing together engineers, social activists, city officials, and business leaders. The atmosphere was charged with urgency and cautious optimism. Elon laid out an ambitious agenda: accelerate Mars project development while simultaneously scaling social impact initiatives. The room was a microcosm of competing priorities, and navigating this tension tested Elon's ability to foster collaboration across divides. Detailed descriptions captured the dynamics, the shifting expressions, heated debates, moments of consensus, and underlying skepticism. Elon's role as a mediator and visionary was front and center, revealing a maturation in his leadership style. The story emphasized the balancing act required to align disparate goals and stakeholders. The narrative shifted to community sites where Innovate LA programs were bearing fruit. Vivid scenes depicted workshops filled with youth learning coding, urban gardens flourishing in repurposed lots, and startups launching from incubators supported by Musk's foundation. These pockets of progress were juxtaposed against ongoing struggles, vacant buildings, economic hardship, and lingering distrust. The emotional tension in these scenes highlighted the slow, uneven nature of social change. Elon's visits to these sites were marked by heartfelt conversations with residents and local leaders. He listened attentively, sometimes challenged, always reflective. These interactions revealed the human dimension of his mission and deepened his empathy. The chapter delved into the personal stories of individuals touched by the initiatives, like Maria, a single mother who gained skills to start a small tech repair business, and Jamal, a teenager whose robotics project won a national competition thanks to support from Musk's programs. These narratives added warmth and texture, making the broader themes relatable and tangible. Meanwhile, the Mars project pushed forward with new milestones: a successful launch of the Starship prototype, advancements in life support systems, and growing international interest. Elon's team celebrated these victories but remained grounded by the ongoing challenges on Earth. The juxtaposition of interplanetary progress and urban recovery provided a rich thematic contrast, underscoring the duality of human aspiration. The story painted vivid pictures of SpaceX facilities abuzz with activity, engineers working late into the night, and Elon poring over designs, always mindful of the balance between dreams and responsibilities. Media coverage grew more nuanced, reflecting the evolving narrative around Elon's role. Profiles highlighted his dedication to social equity as much as his technological feats. Yet skepticism persisted, and critics questioned whether his dual focus diluted impact or distracted from core missions. The chapter captured this debate through op-eds, interviews, and social media reactions, creating a multifaceted portrait of public opinion. Elon responded by doubling down on transparency and communication. He hosted live-streamed town halls and shared candid updates on progress and setbacks. These efforts fostered a sense of shared journey and accountability. The detailed description of these events conveyed the energy and sometimes tense exchanges that characterized them. Within his personal life, Elon faced growing challenges. The demands of public service, innovation, and personal growth created strain. The story depicted moments of solitude where Elon wrestled with doubts and fatigue. Yet, he also found strength in unexpected places: a letter from a program participant, a quiet evening walk in a recovering neighborhood, or a breakthrough in Mars technology. These vignettes humanized the narrative, revealing the interplay of vulnerability and resilience. A pivotal moment arrived when an unexpected natural disaster, a severe wildfire, threatened parts of Los Angeles. The crisis tested the infrastructure and community resilience that Elon and his partners had been building. Elon mobilized resources, coordinating emergency response efforts, deploying Tesla battery packs to power evacuation centers, and supporting communication networks. The vivid descriptions of firefighters battling flames, families evacuating, and volunteers organizing aid added intensity and immediacy. The disaster underscored the urgency of sustainable, resilient urban solutions and reinforced the interconnectedness of Elon's missions. This event also deepened community trust and highlighted the impact of Musk's initiatives in real-world emergencies. The chapter explored the emotional aftermath, the trauma, the hope, the resolve to rebuild better. Elon's reflections during this time showed growth in understanding leadership as service and solidarity. The narrative then turned to a breakthrough within the Mars project, a successful test of a sustainable habitat prototype designed to withstand harsh planetary conditions. This milestone symbolized human ingenuity and aspiration. Elon's reaction was one of cautious celebration, mindful of the long journey ahead but inspired by the tangible progress. The juxtaposition of this achievement with the wildfire recovery painted a compelling picture of dual frontiers, space and Earth, each demanding courage and innovation. As the chapter concluded, Elon stood at the edge of a newly restored park, watching children play under the twilight sky. The scene was imbued with symbolism, renewal, potential, and the enduring spirit of community. His voice, captured in an internal monologue, echoed the chapter's themes. Innovation is not just about reaching beyond the stars, it's about lifting those who dream beneath them. The chapter left readers with a sense of hope tempered by realism, a reminder that progress is a journey marked by setbacks, courage, and connection. Elon Musk's evolving story was now not only about rockets or electric cars but about the shared future of humanity, on Earth and beyond. The tension in Los Angeles remained palpable as Elon Musk's multifaceted efforts continued to unfold, revealing deeper layers of complexity within the city's fabric and his own vision. Opened on a somber note, news reports detailed a spike in homelessness and economic disparity, despite the promising progress of the Innovate LA programs. The narrative immediately plunged into the harsh realities that innovation alone could not swiftly erase. Elon found himself confronting the limits of technological fixes when faced with deeply rooted social problems. The story described his private meetings with city officials and social workers, where data clashed with lived experience. His usual confidence was tinged with frustration and urgency. The emotional texture of these scenes captured the growing weight on his shoulders. In an effort to address the widening gap, Elon proposed a bold new initiative. The Urban Renewal Project, a comprehensive plan combining affordable housing, job creation, and mental health services, backed by cutting-edge technology and community involvement. The plan's unveiling was met with both excitement and skepticism. Elon's speech was vividly depicted, filled with passion and determination, as he outlined the vision to transform entire neighborhoods into sustainable, thriving communities. Yet, the narrative did not shy away from the challenges ahead. Opponents questioned the feasibility and cost, while some residents worried about gentrification and loss of identity. These conflicts brought renewed tension, which the story explored through town hall debates and heated social media exchanges. Elon's leadership was tested as he worked to bridge divides and build consensus. The chapter introduced several new characters, local activists, urban planners, and residents, each with distinct perspectives on the urban renewal project. Their stories added depth and texture, illustrating the human stakes behind policy discussions. Among them was Rosa, a longtime community organizer wary of outsiders but hopeful for genuine change, and Marcus, a young entrepreneur eager to leverage new opportunities. Their evolving relationship with Elon's vision mirrored the city's gradual shift toward collaboration. Parallel to the local struggles, SpaceX's Mars mission faced unexpected technical hurdles. The story detailed tense moments in the control room as engineers scrambled to fix critical issues in the life support systems. Elon's calm under pressure was highlighted, as he encouraged his team and made tough decisions to keep the mission on track. The juxtaposition of earthly challenges with interplanetary ambitions underscored the dual narrative threads. Media coverage reflected the complexities, with headlines juxtaposing Musk's Martian dream against LA's urban crisis. Elon's public image became a battleground for competing narratives, visionary genius versus disconnected billionaire. The story captured this polarization through vivid examples of fan enthusiasm and critical backlash. Amid these pressures, Elon's personal relationships deepened. The story revealed intimate moments where he confided in close friends and advisors, expressing doubts and seeking counsel. These scenes humanized him, showing a man grappling with the enormity of his ambitions and the fragility of his support network. The chapter's emotional core centered on Elon's growing awareness that progress required more than innovation, it required patience, humility, and genuine partnership. A dramatic turning point arrived when a coalition of community leaders invited Elon to participate in a listening tour across Los Angeles neighborhoods most affected by the unrest and economic hardship. These visits were portrayed with rich detail, conversations in small community centers, visits to homeless shelters, and shared meals with families. Elon's willingness to listen and learn was depicted as transformative, both for him and those he met. The narrative emphasized the power of empathy and direct engagement. One particularly moving scene involved Elon meeting an elderly veteran who shared stories of loss and resilience, reminding Elon of the human cost behind statistics. This encounter became a catalyst for renewed commitment. The chapter also explored setbacks, funding delays, political gridlock, and occasional protests against gentrification efforts. These obstacles injected realism and tension, underscoring that change was neither easy nor linear. Elon faced criticism from both allies and detractors, challenging his resolve. The story portrayed his responses with nuance, acknowledging mistakes, adapting strategies, and reinforcing his dedication. As the chapter progressed, Elon and his team launched pilot projects under the Urban Renewal banner. These included modular housing units powered by Tesla batteries and community tech hubs designed to foster entrepreneurship. The descriptions of these initiatives were vivid and hopeful, offering glimpses of what the future might hold. However, challenges remained: supply chain issues, community mistrust, and bureaucratic delays tempered enthusiasm. These dynamics kept the narrative grounded in complexity. The chapter concluded with Elon addressing a diverse crowd at a community event celebrating a completed housing phase. His speech balanced optimism with realism, emphasizing shared responsibility and the long road ahead. The closing lines captured the story's themes of perseverance and hope. Change doesn't come overnight, but with every step forward, we build a foundation for a better tomorrow, for this city, for our planet, and for all who dream beyond. This moment crystallized Elon's evolving journey, from a solitary innovator to a leader invested in collective transformation. Left readers with a sense of ongoing struggle but also possibility, highlighting that true progress is forged through empathy, collaboration, and unyielding commitment. The midpoint of Elon Musk's unfolding saga in Los Angeles marked a moment of both reckoning and renewal. The city waking to headlines proclaiming Elon's boldest initiative yet. The launch of the Mars-linked Urban Innovation Hub, a cutting-edge facility designed to fuse space-age technology with grassroots community development. This ambitious project aimed to create a prototype neighborhood powered by renewable energy, advanced robotics, and AI-driven social services, all while serving as a training ground for innovations destined for Mars colonies. The opening scenes captured the hub's futuristic architecture, gleaming solar panels, robotic caretakers tending to vertical gardens, and holographic displays broadcasting live data. Elon's vision was on full display, yet beneath the spectacle lay a deeper mission: to demonstrate that the future of urban life on Earth and beyond could be sustainable, equitable, and human-centered. The chapter described Elon addressing a diverse crowd of engineers, city officials, local residents, and media representatives. His speech was charged with optimism but tempered by the challenges faced so far. "This is more than technology," he declared. "It's about building a future that works for everyone, here and on Mars." The narrative vividly portrayed the blend of excitement and skepticism in the audience, setting the stage for the trials ahead. The story then traced the initial days of the hub's operation, highlighting the intricate coordination between tech teams and community groups. Elon insisted on inclusive governance, with neighborhood councils having a say in decisions. This approach created tension but also fostered unprecedented collaboration. Vivid scenes detailed workshops where residents learn to operate smart home systems, robotics teams debugging drones used for local deliveries, and educators developing curricula based on space exploration principles. The emotional tone was one of cautious hope, reflecting the weight of expectations. Meanwhile, the Mars mission made a critical breakthrough, a successful simulation of long-term life support systems in the hub's labs. This achievement was portrayed as a symbolic victory, reinforcing the interconnected goals of earthly sustainability and extraterrestrial survival. Elon's reflections on this milestone revealed a maturing philosophy, that humanity's survival depended on learning to live better on Earth first. The story contrasted the sterile lab environment with the lively hub neighborhood, underscoring the importance of community alongside technology. Challenges soon emerged, testing the project's resilience. Supply chain disruptions delayed critical components, political opponents criticized the use of public funds, and a cyber attack briefly compromised the hub's network. Elon's response was decisive and transparent, mobilizing engineers, engaging cybersecurity experts, and communicating openly with the public. These crisis moments were depicted with tension and clarity, emphasizing leadership under pressure. The narrative also explored the emotional toll on Elon and his team. Long hours, high stakes, and public scrutiny created strain, but also camaraderie and shared purpose. Scenes of late-night problem-solving sessions, moments of doubt, and small celebrations humanized the technical drama. The chapter deepened Elon's character by showing his ability to inspire and unite diverse talents around a shared vision. Social impact remained central. The hub launched pilot programs addressing food insecurity, energy poverty, and digital divides. The story introduced individuals like Aisha, a single mother who benefited from a community-run urban farm, and Carlos, a student who gained access to mentorship and scholarships through the hub's educational initiatives. Their stories added warmth and hope, illustrating tangible outcomes. Yet, the narrative maintained balance by acknowledging ongoing systemic issues, poverty, inequality, and historical marginalization, that no single project could fully erase. The chapter also explored media narratives, depicting both glowing profiles of the hub's innovation and critical analyses questioning feasibility and equity. Elon engaged with these critiques through interviews and public forums, emphasizing learning and adaptability. This dialogue reinforced the story's themes of transparency and collective responsibility. A powerful subplot unfolded as local artists collaborated with tech teams to create installations blending science and culture, murals incorporating augmented reality, performances inspired by space exploration, and community storytelling projects. These elements enriched the narrative by highlighting the fusion of creativity and technology, and the importance of culture in social progress. The chapter's climax centered on a high-profile event, the hub's official opening ceremony, attended by government officials, international partners, and media. Elon's keynote speech was a highlight, blending visionary ambition with heartfelt gratitude. The vivid description of the ceremony, the excitement, the speeches, the community celebrations, captured a moment of possibility and unity. Yet, the story hinted at ongoing challenges, as Elon acknowledged that the work was just beginning. The closing scene was intimate, Elon walking through the hub at dusk, pausing to watch children play under energy-efficient streetlights, reflecting on the journey from initial unrest to a hopeful new chapter. His internal monologue conveyed a mix of pride, humility, and determination. The final lines resonated with the story's core message: building the future means facing the present. It means listening, learning, and never losing sight of those we serve, on Earth and beyond. Chapter 10 encapsulated Elon Musk's evolving mission, a synthesis of technological innovation and social consciousness, marked by both spectacular achievements and grounded realism. The detailed descriptions, strong emotional currents, and layered character development made this installment a pivotal moment in the ongoing narrative. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The narrative of Elon Musk's journey in Los Angeles entered a new phase marked by intensified scrutiny and expanding ambitions. Elon attending a high-stakes city council meeting where the future of the Mars-linked urban innovation hub hung in the balance. Political opponents questioned the project's cost and impact, demanding detailed accountability. The chamber buzzed with tension, voices rising as Elon calmly defended the initiative, emphasizing its role in creating sustainable models for urban life and space colonization. The story captured the charged atmosphere, the sharp exchanges, and Elon's composed yet passionate responses. This scene underscored the complex interplay of innovation, politics, and public opinion, reflecting broader societal debates about the role of billionaires in shaping public futures. Parallel to the political drama, the chapter deepened its focus on the hub's evolving community dynamics. Detailed scenes showed residents grappling with rapid change. Some embraced the new technologies and opportunities, while others feared displacement and loss of cultural identity. Elon's efforts to build trust were portrayed through neighborhood meetings, mediated dialogues, and outreach programs. These efforts were not always successful, revealing the limits of goodwill and the persistence of structural inequalities. The story introduced additional voices, longtime residents, recent immigrants, and young entrepreneurs, enriching the narrative tapestry. Meanwhile, SpaceX's Mars project pushed forward with critical tests of interplanetary communication systems. The technical drama unfolded in the company's labs, where engineers raced against time to ensure reliable data transmission across vast distances. Elon's presence was palpable, his visionary drive inspiring breakthroughs, but also generating tension amid high expectations. The story juxtaposed these scenes with quieter moments of reflection, as Elon contemplated the broader meaning of his work. Media coverage reflected growing polarization. Headlines alternated between lauding Musk as a pioneer and criticizing him as an overreacher. The story portrayed this through vivid excerpts from news segments, social media debates, and public opinion polls, creating a textured sense of the public's conflicted gaze. Elon engaged with these narratives by doubling down on transparency and community engagement, hosting regular live Q&A sessions that allowed direct dialogue with critics and supporters alike. Personal relationships formed a poignant undercurrent. The chapter explored Elon's deepening connections with local leaders and residents, marked by moments of mutual respect and occasional frustration. Scenes depicted heartfelt conversations, moments of vulnerability, and small celebrations of shared progress. These intimate vignettes humanized Elon, showing the cost and reward of leadership. A crisis emerged when a key component shipment for the Mars project was delayed indefinitely, threatening timelines and morale. The story conveyed the tense atmosphere in the SpaceX Command Center, Elon's strategic recalibrations, and the team's relentless problem-solving. This setback served as a reminder of the fragile balance between ambition and reality. In response, Elon expanded collaborations with international partners, seeking new avenues for technology development and resource sharing. This global dimension enriched the narrative, highlighting the interconnectedness of space exploration and earthly challenges. The chapter also wove in cultural elements, describing community festivals celebrating space and science, blending art, music, and technology. These events symbolized the fusion of innovation and human expression, a recurring theme in Elon's vision. The emotional climax arrived with the unveiling of a new prototype habitat module designed for Mars, tested within the Urban Innovation Hub. The ceremony was a milestone, celebrated with hope and cautious optimism. Elon's speech emphasized resilience, collaboration, and the unyielding pursuit of progress. The closing scenes showed Elon walking through the hub at night, reflecting on the intertwined journeys of the city and the stars. The chapter ended on a note of determination tempered by humility, leaving readers with a sense of ongoing struggle balanced by possibility. Chapter 11 deepened the story's exploration of leadership, community, and the interplay of technology and society. Through detailed description, strong emotional undercurrents, and multifaceted character development, it advanced Elon Musk's narrative from visionary entrepreneur to engaged civic leader navigating the complex realities of transformative change. As the seasons shifted in Los Angeles, Elon Musk's vision continued to evolve amid rising challenges and emerging opportunities. With a quiet morning at the Mars-linked Urban Innovation Hub, where the hum of solar panels and soft drone buzz formed a backdrop to a city awakening to new possibilities. Elon walked through the hub's bustling tech workshops and community centers, reflecting on how far the project had come and the complex road still ahead. The scene was rich with sensory details, the crisp morning light filtering through glass, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee at a local cafe, the animated conversations of residents sharing ideas. This vivid setting underscored the fusion of technology and daily life, making the story feel immediate and tangible. The narrative then shifted to a new initiative, the Next-Gen Innovators program, designed to empower underrepresented youth with skills in robotics, AI, and space sciences. Elon personally championed this effort, participating in workshops, mentoring sessions, and outreach events. The chapter highlighted the transformative impact on individuals like Jasmine, a shy teenager discovering her talent for coding, and DeAndre, a passionate young engineer eager to contribute to Mars missions. Their journeys illustrated the power of education and opportunity to break cycles of disadvantage. Amid these hopeful developments, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Long-standing issues of affordability, displacement, and cultural preservation remained contentious. The story portrayed these conflicts through intense community meetings and candid dialogues, where fears and aspirations clashed. Elon's role as mediator and advocate was portrayed with nuance. He listened actively, acknowledged missteps, and adapted strategies to foster inclusion. These interactions deepened the emotional texture, revealing the challenges of balancing innovation with social justice. On the Mars front, technical teams prepared for a landmark simulation, a multi-week isolation experiment mimicking conditions on the Red Planet. The story detailed the psychological and physical trials faced by participants, as well as Elon's meticulous planning and encouragement. The simulation's progress became a metaphor for endurance, teamwork, and human adaptability, themes echoed in the urban project's community dynamics. Media narratives shifted toward a more balanced portrayal of Elon's dual missions. Profiles emphasized his commitment to social impact alongside technological innovation, though skepticism persisted. The chapter depicted these media interactions through interviews, panel discussions, and public forums, reflecting the evolving public conversation. A significant subplot involved a breakthrough in sustainable energy. Tesla unveiled a new battery technology with enhanced capacity and environmental footprint. This innovation promised to power both Earth-bound communities and future Mars colonies more efficiently. The chapter described the unveiling event in vivid detail, lightning-fast demonstrations, technical explanations accessible to the lay audience, and Elon's signature blend of enthusiasm and rigor. Emotional highlights included the reactions of engineers and community members, who saw the technology as a beacon of hope. The story also explored Elon's personal reflections during a rare moment of solitude. Walking through a quiet park at dusk, he contemplated the intertwined challenges of his work, balancing innovation with empathy, ambition with responsibility. These introspective passages humanized him, revealing the doubts and resolve beneath the public persona. The chapter's climax arrived when the Mars simulation team successfully completed their isolation period, marking a major milestone. The celebrations were tempered by the awareness of the journey still ahead, both on Mars and in Los Angeles. Elon's speech emphasized resilience, collective effort, and the vision of a shared future. The closing scene returned to the hub, now illuminated under the night sky, buzzing with life and possibility. Elon's final thoughts echoed the chapter's themes. Our future depends not just on rockets or technology, but on the people who build, nurture, and dream together, here on Earth and beyond. Chapter 12 wove together vivid description, strong emotional currents, and layered character development to portray a moment of growth and complexity in Elon Musk's ongoing story. It balanced technological triumphs with social challenges, underscoring that progress is a human endeavor requiring courage, empathy, and collaboration. The atmosphere in Los Angeles shifted as spring deepened, bringing renewed energy to Elon Musk's intertwined ventures in urban innovation and space exploration. Elon attending a community festival at the Mars-linked Urban Innovation Hub. A vibrant celebration of science, culture, and neighborhood spirit. The festival was described in rich detail, colorful banners fluttering in the breeze, local musicians playing fusion jazz, food stalls offering a mix of traditional and futuristic cuisine, and interactive exhibits where children could pilot miniature rovers or design Mars habitats using augmented reality. Elon moved through the crowd, engaging with residents, students, and engineers, his presence both inspiring and approachable. The scene captured the joyful synergy of technology and community, a living embodiment of his vision. The story then shifted to the challenges facing the project's next phase, scaling up the hub's innovations citywide while preserving the intimate community bonds that made it special. Elon convened a diverse task force of urban planners, social scientists, and local leaders to devise strategies. The narrative highlighted debates over balancing rapid growth with cultural sensitivity, integrating technology without deepening divides, and ensuring that economic benefits reached all residents. Tensions surfaced, reflecting the real complexities of urban transformation. Parallel to this, the Mars mission faced a critical test, the assembly and launch of the Starship prototype designed for long-duration interplanetary travel. The chapter conveyed the intense technical challenges, moments of breakthrough, and near-disaster setbacks during construction and testing phases. Elon's leadership was central, his relentless drive pushing teams to innovate while maintaining morale amid high-pressure conditions. The story contrasted the cutting-edge engineering feats with the grounded human emotions, excitement, frustration, hope, and exhaustion, woven throughout the endeavor. Media coverage intensified, spotlighting Elon's dual role as a tech visionary and social innovator. Profiles captured his charisma and complexity, while critiques questioned the feasibility and ethics of his projects. The narrative depicted Elon responding through candid interviews and social media, reinforcing transparency and humility. Personal relationships deepened with the introduction of a new character, Maya, a community activist and educator who challenged Elon's assumptions and helped bridge gaps between technological ambition and grassroots realities. Their evolving dialogue enriched the story with themes of listening, learning, and mutual respect. The chapter portrayed joint initiatives led by Elon and Maya, focusing on inclusive education, cultural preservation, and sustainable development. These collaborations brought tangible improvements and built trust, but also revealed ongoing obstacles and differing perspectives. A dramatic turning point occurred when the Starship prototype's test flight ended with a partial failure, sending shockwaves through the SpaceX team and public alike. The story captured the tension and disappointment, balanced by Elon's resilience and determination to learn from setbacks. Scenes detailed the meticulous analysis of failure points, the rallying of engineers, and the reaffirmation of goals. This moment became a powerful metaphor for the broader journey, one marked by trial, error, and persistence. Back in Los Angeles, a grassroots movement emerged, advocating for more direct community control over urban development. The story depicted spirited protests, negotiations, and the formation of cooperative councils. Elon's response was nuanced, recognizing the legitimacy of concerns while advocating for partnership. These dynamics added layers of conflict and hope, illustrating the messy realities of social change. Emotional depth was heightened through scenes showing Elon navigating these challenges with honesty and empathy, seeking common ground despite disagreements. The chapter culminated in a large public forum where Elon, Maya, community leaders, and city officials came together to chart a path forward. The dialogue was portrayed with authenticity, honest critiques, shared aspirations, and tentative agreements. Elon's closing remarks emphasized humility, collaboration, and the shared responsibility of shaping the future. The final scene was reflective, Elon standing on a rooftop overlooking the city lights, contemplating the intertwined destinies of Los Angeles and humanity's journey to the stars. His inner voice conveyed a mix of hope, resolve, and awareness of the long road ahead. The narrative's exploration of leadership, community engagement, and the interplay between technological ambition and social reality. Through vivid settings, complex characters, and emotional resonance, it portrayed a moment of challenge and growth in Elon Musk's extraordinary story. In the wake of the public forum, a renewed sense of purpose settled over the Mars-linked urban innovation hub and Elon Musk's sprawling vision for Los Angeles and beyond. A dawn breaking over the city, soft light illuminating the gleaming solar arrays and bustling streets of the hub. Elon, energized yet contemplative, began his day with a visit to a local school where the Next-Gen Innovators program was in full swing. The scene was vivid, students engrossed in building robotic arms, coding simulations for Mars habitats, and collaborating on virtual reality explorations. Elon moved among them, asking questions, offering encouragement, and absorbing their excitement. This moment showcased the tangible human impact of his vision, reminding readers that at the heart of cutting-edge technology lay real lives and dreams. The story then shifted to the technical challenges in the Mars mission. The recent Starship test flight failure prompted a series of urgent redesigns and intensified simulations. The narrative captured the relentless work ethic of the SpaceX team, the intense problem-solving sessions, and Elon's leadership in steering the project through turbulence. Detailed descriptions of engineering breakthroughs and setbacks conveyed the high stakes and intricate nature of space exploration. Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, the hub's expansion plans moved forward with new partnerships involving local businesses, universities, and nonprofit organizations. Elon insisted on models that prioritized community ownership and equitable benefit sharing. Scenes depicted negotiations, project planning meetings, and pilot programs addressing affordable housing, clean energy access, and digital inclusion. The narrative explored the tensions between innovation-driven growth and fears of gentrification, weaving in the perspectives of longtime residents and newcomers alike. Media coverage highlighted Elon's evolving role, not just as a tech mogul but as a civic innovator striving to balance ambition with social responsibility. Interviews revealed his awareness of criticism and his commitment to listening and adapting. This transparency added depth to his character, portraying a leader responsive to complex realities. The chapter also introduced personal moments that revealed Elon's inner world. Quiet scenes showed him reflecting on family ties and early influences that shaped his drive. Conversations with close confidants highlighted his struggles with public scrutiny and the burden of visionary leadership. These glimpses humanized him, contrasting the public persona with private doubts and hopes. A significant subplot focused on a breakthrough in sustainable agriculture within the hub, a vertical farm employing hydroponics and AI to maximize yield and minimize resource use. The story detailed the collaborative effort of scientists, engineers, and local farmers, emphasizing innovation rooted in tradition and community knowledge. Emotional narratives of farmers reclaiming land and revitalizing food systems underscored the theme of resilience and renewal. Tensions surfaced when a cybersecurity threat targeted the hub's data networks, disrupting services and raising alarms about vulnerability. Elon's swift response involved mobilizing experts, enhancing defenses, and communicating openly with the public. These moments heightened suspense and underscored the fragility of interconnected systems. The chapter's climax centered on the successful relaunch of the Starship prototype, a dramatic event broadcast globally. The vivid description of the launch, the roar of engines, the shimmering trail of fire, the tense countdown, and the triumphant ascent, captured a triumph of human ingenuity and determination. Elon's elation was palpable, shared by engineers and supporters worldwide. Yet, the story also acknowledged the ongoing challenges, reminding readers that this victory was a milestone, not an endpoint. The closing scene returned to Los Angeles at twilight, with Elon standing atop a hill overlooking the city and the illuminated hub below. His internal monologue reflected on the intertwined fates of the urban community and humanity's interplanetary ambitions. He recognized the complexity of progress, marked by setbacks and breakthroughs, conflict and cooperation, dreams and reality. The chapter concluded with a resonant message: to reach the stars, we must first build a future worth leaving behind. Through detailed descriptions, emotional depth, and multifaceted characters, it portrayed a pivotal moment in Elon Musk's journey, a story of visionary leadership grounded in humanity's shared challenges and hopes. As summer approached Los Angeles, the Mars-linked urban innovation hub became a beacon of dynamic activity and evolving hope, while Elon Musk's ambitions for Mars and urban transformation intensified in equal measure. A crisp morning scene in the hub's central plaza, where residents gathered for the launch of a community-driven solar microgrid project. The air buzzed with anticipation and optimism as Elon joined local leaders, engineers, and families to celebrate this tangible step toward energy independence. The narrative detailed the cutting-edge technology powering the microgrid, advanced battery storage, smart grids, and decentralized energy production, and how it promised to reduce reliance on traditional power systems. Elon's speech underscored the project's significance, a model for sustainable urban living with the potential to inform future Mars colonies. The story then traced the ripple effects within the community. Detailed portrayals of families gaining stable, affordable power, entrepreneurs launching green startups, and schools incorporating renewable energy into their curriculum illustrated the real-world impact of innovation. This juxtaposition of high technology and everyday life deepened the story's emotional texture, highlighting the human stakes beneath Elon's grand vision. Meanwhile, at SpaceX headquarters, the narrative shifted to the final stages of preparation for a Mars mission simulator, a live test involving a multinational crew isolated for 60 days in a state-of-the-art habitat module. The chapter delved into the psychological and logistical challenges faced by the crew, the meticulous planning behind every aspect of the mission, and Elon's hands-on involvement in coordinating and supporting the endeavor. Vivid scenes depicted moments of camaraderie, conflict, and reflection within the team, offering a microcosm of the broader human journey into space. Media attention surged, with global outlets following the simulator's progress closely. Elon engaged with the coverage through a series of interviews and public talks, emphasizing themes of unity, resilience, and shared destiny. The story wove these public moments with intimate insights into Elon's mindset, his blend of optimism and realism, his resolve to push boundaries while safeguarding human welfare. Back in Los Angeles, tensions persisted around urban development. The chapter introduced a heated debate over a proposed affordable housing complex integrated with advanced environmental controls designed by the hub's innovation teams. While many residents supported the project as a critical need, others feared that rapid changes might erode the neighborhood's character and affordability. Elon found himself mediating between passionate voices, striving to craft solutions that honored community values while advancing sustainability goals. The narrative portrayed these negotiations with nuance, capturing moments of frustration, empathy, and tentative agreement. Interpersonal dynamics added richness. Elon's growing collaboration with Maya, the community activist, deepened through shared challenges and mutual respect. Their conversations, sometimes contentious, often insightful, explored the ethical dimensions of innovation and leadership. This relationship humanized Elon further, portraying him not as a distant titan but as a learner engaged in a collective journey. A turning point emerged when the Mars mission simulator crew encountered a critical system malfunction, forcing an emergency protocol activation. The story built suspense through detailed descriptions of problem-solving under pressure, team dynamics tested by stress, and Elon's remote leadership coordinating with mission control. The successful resolution of the crisis reinforced themes of resilience and teamwork, resonating with the chapter's broader message about navigating uncertainty. Technological breakthroughs also punctuated the narrative. Tesla's latest battery technology was integrated into the solar microgrid, enhancing efficiency and reliability. This innovation was celebrated with a community event filled with hopeful speeches, technical demonstrations, and personal stories of empowerment. The emotional core centered on individuals whose lives were transformed by access to clean, affordable energy, a powerful testament to technology's potential as a force for good. The chapter's climax arrived with a gala event marking the hub's 5th anniversary, a gathering of scientists, city officials, residents, and international guests. The evening was described in cinematic detail, elegant lighting, stirring speeches, moments of laughter and reflection, and Elon's keynote address emphasizing vision, collaboration, and shared responsibility. His words echoed through the hall, building the future isn't just about rockets or code, it's about community, care, and commitment to each other and the planet we call home. The final scene returned to Elon's private quarters overlooking the city skyline, where he reviewed progress reports and contemplated the intertwining paths of urban innovation and space exploration. His internal dialogue revealed a blend of pride, humility, and determination. The chapter closed with a poignant reflection: the journey to Mars begins here, in the hearts and homes of the people who dare to dream. Enriched the overarching narrative by weaving technological advancement with deep social engagement, portraying Elon Musk's leadership as a complex, evolving force navigating the intersections of ambition, ethics, and community. Through vivid descriptions, emotional depth, and multifaceted relationships, it brought to life a moment of progress tempered by the realities of change. The heat of midsummer settled over Los Angeles, but the energy at the Mars-linked Urban Innovation Hub was electrifying. Elon Musk arriving at a state-of-the-art community lab designed to test new materials for both urban sustainability and Martian colonization. The lab was alive with scientists, engineers, and local apprentices collaborating in a lively hive of invention. Elon's enthusiasm was palpable as he toured the facility, asking detailed questions about breakthroughs in radiation shielding and sustainable building materials. The scene painted a vivid picture of cutting-edge science blending seamlessly with community empowerment. Outside the lab, the neighborhood was alive with the sounds of street festivals and art installations celebrating the city's rich cultural diversity. The narrative captured the tension between tradition and transformation, murals honoring the past contrasted with sleek new tech hubs sprouting up. Elon's dual mission, to push humanity toward Mars while revitalizing Earth's communities, felt both ambitious and deeply rooted. The story then turned to a critical setback in the Mars mission simulator. Midway through the isolation period, tensions among crew members escalated, threatening the mission's integrity. The chapter explored the psychological strains of confinement, interpersonal conflicts, and the challenge of maintaining cohesion under pressure. Elon's involvement became more hands-on, with video conferences providing support and guidance. These interactions revealed his growing understanding of the human factors critical to long-duration space travel. Simultaneously, the urban project faced a major hurdle when a cyber attack targeted the Innovation Hub's data systems, causing outages and raising alarms about security vulnerabilities. Elon coordinated a rapid response team, emphasizing transparency with the community and reinforcing cybersecurity measures. The narrative wove in suspenseful descriptions of digital battles fought behind the scenes and the emotional toll on residents dependent on the hub's services. Media outlets debated the implications, sparking wider conversations about the risks of technological dependence. The story also deepened the relationship between Elon and Maya, the community activist. Their dialogues grew more candid and personal, exploring themes of trust, power, and responsibility. Maya challenged Elon to confront the unintended consequences of his projects, pushing him to adopt more inclusive decision-making practices. These exchanges enriched the narrative's emotional texture, portraying leadership as a continuous learning process. Meanwhile, Tesla engineers announced a breakthrough in electric vehicle battery recycling, promising to reduce waste and environmental impact significantly. The chapter detailed the scientific innovation and its integration into the hub's sustainability goals. Community members expressed hope that such advancements could inspire broader shifts in consumption and conservation. The Mars mission simulator's climax unfolded with a near crisis when a life support system failure forced the crew into emergency protocols. The tension was palpable as the team worked together to troubleshoot, reflecting resilience and training. Elon's remote support underscored the blend of technology and humanity essential to survival beyond Earth. The chapter concluded with a celebratory event marking the end of the simulation. The astronauts emerged changed, physically and emotionally, symbolizing both the potential and the perils of space exploration. Elon's closing remarks emphasized perseverance and the collective nature of the endeavor. The final scene returned to Los Angeles at twilight, with Elon standing on a rooftop, gazing at the stars. His thoughts captured the chapter's dual themes: to reach the next frontier, we must first understand the fragile, beautiful complexity of the world we call home. Wove together vivid scientific detail, emotional depth, and social complexity, portraying a pivotal moment of challenge and growth in Elon Musk's intertwined quests for Mars and urban renewal. The narrative balanced suspense with hope, innovation with caution, and ambition with empathy, continuing to humanize a story of extraordinary vision. The late summer sun cast long shadows across Los Angeles as Elon Musk faced an escalating wave of challenges both on Earth and beyond. A tense meeting in the Mars-linked Urban Innovation Hub's glass-walled conference room, where Elon and his closest advisors strategized about managing growing public unrest sparked by rising housing costs and concerns about technological overreach. The atmosphere was charged with urgency and conflicting viewpoints. Local leaders demanded greater community control, activists called for transparency, and Elon pushed for maintaining momentum in innovation. The narrative detailed heated debates, illustrating the complexity of balancing rapid progress with social equity. Elon's resolve was tested as he navigated accusations that his projects favored the elite, potentially deepening divisions rather than healing them. Meanwhile, the SpaceX team prepared for an ambitious orbital test of the Starship vehicle, designed as a precursor to the Mars mission. The chapter described the meticulous preparations, the high stakes of the launch, and the intricate choreography of engineers, technicians, and mission control personnel. Elon's leadership style, part visionary, part hands-on problem solver, came into sharp focus, highlighting his capacity to inspire yet also the heavy burden of responsibility. As tensions mounted in Los Angeles, Maya organized a grassroots forum bringing together residents, policymakers, and innovators. Elon attended, engaging directly with community voices in a rare display of openness. Their dialogues were raw and candid, revealing mistrust but also common hopes. The story emphasized the transformative power of listening and the challenges of building bridges across divides. Parallel to this, the chapter explored Elon's personal struggles. Private scenes revealed moments of exhaustion, doubt, and reflection as he grappled with the public scrutiny and the high stakes of his dual missions. Conversations with close friends and confidants offered insights into his internal conflicts, fears of failure, and enduring optimism. A turning point occurred when a cyber attack disrupted critical systems at the Innovation Hub during a heatwave, exacerbating public anxiety. The narrative conveyed the scramble to restore services, the emotional toll on residents, and Elon's determination to increase resilience. This event sparked a citywide conversation about the vulnerabilities of interconnected infrastructure and the need for inclusive technological safeguards. In the midst of turmoil, SpaceX's orbital test flight achieved a spectacular success. The launch sequence was described in cinematic detail: the countdown, the thunderous roar, the rocket piercing the sky, and the flawless execution of complex maneuvers. Elon's exhilaration was tempered by awareness that this was but one step on a long journey. The chapter juxtaposed this triumph with the unrest on the ground, illustrating the paradoxes of progress. As the story progressed, Elon and Maya forged a strategic partnership, combining technological innovation with community advocacy. Their collaboration birthed new initiatives focusing on affordable housing integrated with green technology and digital literacy programs empowering marginalized groups. These efforts, while promising, faced bureaucratic hurdles and skepticism, reflecting the ongoing tension between idealism and pragmatism. The emotional core of the chapter centered on moments of breakthrough and setback: neighbors celebrating new solar-powered homes, activists rallying for equity, engineers troubleshooting delays, and Elon confronting the limits of control. The narrative painted a portrait of leadership as a delicate balancing act requiring humility, adaptability, and perseverance. The chapter concluded with a poignant scene at dusk: Elon standing alone on a hillside overlooking Los Angeles, the city's twinkling lights mingling with the stars above. His thoughts were a mixture of hope and realism, captured in a quiet vow to continue striving for a future where technology and humanity coexisted in harmony. The closing line echoed the story's enduring theme: innovation without empathy is a journey without a destination. Exploration of social complexity, leadership challenges, and the interplay of technological ambition with human values. Through vivid descriptions, emotional resonance, and complex characters, it portrayed a pivotal moment of tension and hope in Elon Musk's extraordinary journey. Autumn's cool embrace settled over Los Angeles as the Mars-linked urban innovation hub entered a phase of critical transformation, and Elon Musk faced the mounting pressure of converging challenges. Elon at a high-stakes meeting with city officials, tech leaders, and community representatives, tasked with drafting a comprehensive urban sustainability plan designed to integrate emerging technologies with social equity goals. The tension in the room was tangible, with competing priorities and divergent visions clashing amid a backdrop of urgent environmental concerns. Elon's role was both mediator and catalyst, pushing for ambitious targets while advocating for pragmatic, inclusive solutions. The narrative painted a vivid picture of collaborative negotiation, voices rising, proposals clashing, and moments of unexpected consensus. This political and social complexity enriched the story's emotional depth. Meanwhile, at SpaceX, preparations accelerated for a pivotal Mars mission milestone, the launch of a prototype habitat module to low Earth orbit, testing systems critical for long-duration space habitation. Detailed descriptions of engineering breakthroughs, safety protocols, and the team's emotional investment highlighted the high stakes and human ingenuity involved. Elon's leadership was portrayed through his relentless attention to detail, his encouragement of innovation, and his capacity to inspire perseverance in the face of setbacks. The chapter then shifted to the urban community, where grassroots efforts led by Maya and other activists gained new momentum. They launched educational programs focused on digital literacy, climate awareness, and sustainable living, designed to empower marginalized neighborhoods. These scenes offered intimate glimpses into personal transformations, families adopting clean energy, youth discovering STEM opportunities, elders sharing wisdom rooted in local history. The story wove these micro-narratives into a broader tapestry of hope and resilience. However, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Rising housing costs and gentrification fears prompted protests and vocal demands for stronger protections. Elon found himself navigating a complex web of expectations and criticisms, striving to balance innovation with fairness. His private reflections revealed the toll of this balancing act, the fatigue, the self-doubt, but also the unwavering commitment to progress. A sudden crisis struck when a wildfire threatened the outskirts of the innovation hub, forcing rapid evacuation and testing the community's emergency preparedness. Vivid descriptions of smoke-filled skies, frantic coordination, and the resilience of residents underscored the fragility of progress in the face of natural disasters. Elon's response, mobilizing resources, leveraging technology for early warnings, and supporting recovery efforts, showcased leadership grounded in empathy and action. The Mars mission's habitat prototype launch became a dramatic high point. The chapter recounted the tense countdown, the flawless deployment in orbit, and the initial data streaming back to Earth, signaling a major step toward sustainable extraterrestrial living. Elon's emotional response, relief, pride, tempered by the knowledge of future challenges, added nuance to the triumph. As the story progressed, the evolving partnership between Elon and Maya deepened. Together, they initiated a pilot program integrating affordable housing with green technologies and community ownership models. This innovative approach was described in rich detail, from architectural designs to community forums shaping the project's direction. The narrative captured both the excitement and hurdles faced, funding challenges, bureaucratic delays, and ongoing dialogue with residents. The chapter's emotional core centered on moments of breakthrough. Families moving into new homes powered by clean energy, neighbors forging bonds over shared goals, and Elon witnessing tangible results of collaboration. The closing scene unfolded at twilight, with Elon standing in a newly built park within the hub, watching children play beneath solar-powered lights. His reflections resonated with the story's themes: true progress isn't measured in milestones or metrics, but in the lives uplifted along the way. Deepened the narrative's exploration of leadership, community resilience, and the intertwined futures of Earth and Mars. Through detailed scenes, emotional richness, and complex character dynamics, it portrayed a chapter of hard-won progress, tempered by enduring challenges and the promise of renewal. Winter descended softly on Los Angeles, a city still pulsing with the restless energy of transformation and uncertainty. Elon Musk preparing for a pivotal televised address to the nation, intended to clarify his vision amid mounting criticism and growing unrest. The scene was set in a sleek, minimalist studio bathed in cool light, where Elon rehearsed his message, a call for unity, innovation, and shared responsibility to tackle the challenges facing the city and the broader human endeavor to reach Mars. The narrative detailed the meticulous crafting of his speech, the team's strategic consultations, and Elon's internal dialogue grappling with the weight of expectations. The broadcast itself unfolded with cinematic intensity. Elon's words were measured yet passionate, addressing concerns over inequality, technological disruption, and environmental crises while reaffirming his commitment to inclusive progress. The story captured the public's varied reactions, hopeful, skeptical, inspired, and critical, revealing the complex landscape of opinion shaping the narrative. Parallel to the address, unrest in Los Angeles escalated as protests erupted in several neighborhoods over housing displacement and perceived corporate overreach. The chapter delved into the street's vibrant yet tense atmosphere, portraying diverse voices clamoring for justice and recognition. Elon's response was swift and multifaceted, deploying resources for community dialogues, expanding affordable housing initiatives, and enhancing transparency measures. This duality, between public outreach and the realities of dissent, added emotional and thematic depth. Meanwhile, at SpaceX, preparations intensified for the final Mars mission simulation involving a full-scale habitat deployment and crew training. The narrative depicted the physical and psychological demands on the astronauts, the rigorous testing of life support systems, and the intricate choreography of mission control. Elon's presence was both inspiring and exacting, driving the team toward excellence while managing the pressure cooker environment. The story wove in personal moments of vulnerability and camaraderie among the crew, illustrating the human spirit behind technological ambition. Back in the Urban Innovation Hub, Maya's leadership flourished as new community programs launched, focusing on mental health support, youth empowerment, and environmental stewardship. The chapter portrayed grassroots activists navigating bureaucratic resistance, forging alliances, and celebrating small victories. These efforts contrasted with the larger structural challenges, highlighting the resilience and agency of local voices. The relationship between Elon and Maya reached a new depth, marked by mutual respect and honest confrontation. Their dialogues explored themes of privilege, accountability, and the necessity of inclusive leadership. Elon's reflections revealed a growing humility and openness to change. A dramatic moment arose when a severe storm disrupted power and communication networks across the city, testing the robustness of the Innovation Hub's infrastructure. The narrative described the tense hours of blackout, the community's reliance on backup systems, and Elon's coordination of emergency responses. The resilience and solidarity displayed amid adversity underscored the story's enduring message of hope. The chapter's climax came with the successful conclusion of the Mars mission simulation. The crew's emergence from isolation was depicted with emotional richness, relief, triumph, exhaustion, and renewed determination. Elon's remarks during the debrief emphasized lessons learned and the path forward, reinforcing the intertwining of earthbound challenges and extraterrestrial aspirations. The closing scene unfolded in a quiet moment at dawn, with Elon gazing over the city from a hillside vantage point. His thoughts encapsulated the chapter's complex mood, every frontier, whether on this planet or another, is shaped by the courage to face uncertainty and the will to build together. Portraying a moment of reckoning and renewal in Elon Musk's journey. Through vivid descriptions, character complexity, and intertwining storylines, it highlighted the tensions and hopes defining a pivotal era for Los Angeles and humanity's reach for the stars. The dawn of a new year cast a pale glow over Los Angeles, a city reborn through struggle, innovation, and relentless hope. Elon Musk preparing for the unveiling of the Mars-linked Urban Innovation Hub's flagship project, a self-sustaining residential community designed as a model for future Martian colonies and Earth's evolving cities alike. The scene was a bustling blend of excitement and solemnity as residents, scientists, city officials, and global media gathered for the grand reveal. Elon's keynote speech wove together threads of the entire journey, ambition and adversity, technology and humanity, dreams and duty. He spoke of lessons learned, the power of collaboration, and the unyielding drive to forge a better future. The narrative detailed the architectural marvels, advanced energy systems, and integrated green spaces of the community, portrayed through the eyes of diverse residents whose lives were deeply transformed by the project. These personal stories added warmth and intimacy to the grandeur of innovation. Simultaneously, the Mars mission team prepared for their final test flight, the culmination of years of simulation and preparation. The chapter described the tense countdown, the flawless launch, and the intricate orbital maneuvers with a cinematic flair, capturing the mixture of technical mastery and human bravery. Elon's presence was felt throughout, a visionary guiding his team and the world toward new horizons. Back in the city, Maya and community leaders celebrated the fruits of their perseverance, increased affordable housing, thriving educational programs, and a strengthened sense of belonging. The chapter portrayed moments of jubilation alongside sober recognition of ongoing challenges, underscoring the continuous nature of social progress. Elon and Maya's partnership symbolized the story's core message, the fusion of innovation and empathy as the path forward. A dramatic twist emerged when unexpected regulatory obstacles threatened to delay further expansion of the innovation hub. The ensuing negotiations tested Elon's diplomatic skills and commitment to transparency, reflecting the complex realities of progress within political frameworks. The narrative captured the tension and eventual breakthrough, highlighting the importance of dialogue and compromise. The emotional climax arrived as the Mars mission launched successfully toward its orbital destination, a symbolic leap representing humanity's aspirations beyond Earth. The story delved into the astronauts' perspectives, the mission control team's focus, and Elon's reflective solitude. The interconnectedness of their journey with the lives reshaped in Los Angeles was emphasized, weaving a tapestry of shared destiny. The resolution and reflection section brought the story full circle. Elon's voiceover reflected on the intertwined nature of love, sacrifice, and innovation. He acknowledged the imperfect but hopeful path humanity must walk. The final lines resonated with a universal truth: no matter how far we travel, the heart's home is where we build together. The closing scene portrayed a panoramic view of the innovation hub glowing under the night sky, a beacon of possibility. A profound and uplifting conclusion to Elon Musk's journey amid Los Angeles's unrest. Through rich description, emotional depth, and nuanced character development, it celebrated the triumphs and trials of visionary leadership, the power of community, and the enduring quest for a better tomorrow. The new beginning didn't come with fireworks or fanfare. It arrived quietly, in the form of early morning light breaking through the haze above Los Angeles, casting long golden rays across the Mars-linked urban innovation hub as if the city itself had exhaled. Elon Musk walking alone through the quiet corridors of the Central Command Center, deep in thought, reflecting not just on what had been achieved, but on what remained unknown, untried, and unfinished. His thoughts weren't with the Mars trajectory data or the efficiency metrics of solar grids this time. They were with the people, the engineers who stayed through sleepless nights, the families who rebuilt their lives within the hub, the activists who held him accountable, and even the skeptics who forced him to become sharper, clearer, and more honest. The stillness was disrupted by a live feed alert, images coming in from the orbital Mars module, now circling the Earth on its 6th day. Elon tapped the display, watching the crew move through the corridors of the habitat with quiet precision. The technology worked, the systems were stable, and the humans aboard, scientists, engineers, and dreamers, moved like they belonged in that future. The scene cut to Los Angeles waking up. Food vendors opened carts fueled by clean energy, students cycled to new schools built from modular, recycled materials, and public screens displayed live updates from the Mars mission, seamlessly connecting life on Earth to humanity's next chapter in space. At City Hall, Maya stood before the Urban Affairs Committee, presenting the next phase of the hub's development. Her voice was calm, measured, and forceful, citing statistics of reduced emissions, increased employment, and a noticeable decline in poverty within hub zones. She credited Elon's vision, but didn't shy away from highlighting community resilience as the true engine of transformation. Elon watched from the command center, a hint of pride in his expression, not from ego, but from the realization that leadership was never meant to be held alone. Meanwhile, across the country and around the globe, public discourse was shifting. The story of Los Angeles, once seen as a cautionary tale of technological overreach and social fracture, was now being studied as a model of reconciliation between the future and the present. Universities launched research on the hub's urban systems. City mayors requested blueprints for similar infrastructures. Space agencies began formalizing partnerships with SpaceX for joint missions. But with praise came pressure. A major storm system, the result of worsening global climate patterns, threatened the southern edge of the hub. Emergency shelters activated, flood prevention tech deployed, and Elon personally supervised a drone surveillance network to track the system's path. The story detailed the tense 36-hour window as the storm made landfall. The hub's resilience was put to the test, and while damage was minimal, the emotional impact was profound. Elon addressed the public not with triumph, but with urgency, declaring, "This was not just a test of technology, but a test of our humanity. And we passed, but we have more to do." Maya, meanwhile, met with neighborhood leaders who feared that the hub's success might be used as an excuse for further displacement. She proposed a policy, co-authored with Elon's legal team, that guaranteed housing protections and expanded community ownership over tech-based developments. The legislation passed unanimously. That night, Elon visited his childhood home in South Africa virtually via immersive AR. The house was empty, preserved in a state museum, but the memories were sharp. He recalled working on early circuit boards, sketching rockets on old math books, and sitting alone at lunch wondering if anyone else ever felt like they didn't belong to the present. That feeling, he now realized, had never left. But now it had a direction. In an unannounced move, Elon opened applications for the first Citizen Engineering Cohort, a training program for people with no formal education but demonstrated potential. Thousands applied. Single parents, former factory workers, students from underserved schools. The pilot group of 50 were welcomed with a simple message: if you've ever felt overlooked, this is for you. You belong in the future too. The crew aboard the Mars module completed a zero-gravity EVA, testing the next-gen suits designed within the Los Angeles hub by a team led by a 19-year-old local prodigy whose life had been changed after a chance encounter with Elon at a middle school science fair. Her name was Kayla. Her design received international praise. She called Elon on a secure video line after the successful test. "This was never supposed to be mine," she told him. "And now it's everyone's." Elon didn't answer right away. He just nodded, overwhelmed by the truth of it. But not everyone supported the rapid change. Protests continued in areas outside the hub's sphere of influence. People feared being left behind. Some called the hub a utopian distraction, others accused it of being an elite bubble. Elon responded with transparency, publishing real-time data, inviting critiques, funding independent reviews of the hub's economic impact. The criticism didn't stop, but it evolved. It became dialogue. Then something unexpected happened. A girl from the outskirts of the city, no ties to politics, no connections to tech, posted a video from a broken streetlight under a collapsing overpass. "When does our hub get built?" she asked. The video went viral. Elon saw it at 2 a.m. By sunrise, his team was designing an expansion model. Maya personally visited the girl's neighborhood, meeting with residents, asking questions, listening. That week, a new pilot hub began construction on that very block. Unfolded at the edge of the city, where Elon and Maya stood side by side watching the next rocket lift off, carrying new modules, scientific payloads, and personal messages from hundreds of Los Angeles residents. Among them was a note written by Kayla: "We dreamed this together." Elon turned to Maya, quiet for a long moment, then said, "We didn't just reach for Mars. We reached for each other." The rocket disappeared into the clouds. And in that moment, it wasn't just a symbol of escape. It was a promise, that even the most impossible dreams were possible, if we built them together, starting exactly where we stand. A final line drawn from a mural painted by local artists on the hub's east entrance, now photographed and shared across the globe, from Earth to Mars, from pain to power, we rise. The silence of space was absolute. It wasn't just the absence of sound, but the absence of doubt, of distraction, of everything unnecessary. Mars-bound orbital research module, now halfway through its critical trial phase. The crew, 5 men and women from diverse backgrounds, floated in perfect synchronization, their movements graceful and controlled. They weren't just astronauts anymore. They were ambassadors of a changing Earth. Elon Musk sat in a quiet room back in Los Angeles, surrounded by large monitors streaming live data and high-definition visuals from the module. He hadn't slept much. Sleep felt like a luxury now, not out of stress, but because of the sheer magnitude of what was unfolding. The mission wasn't theoretical anymore. It was real, alive, unfolding moment by moment in the black void above. The feed displayed Kayla's new generation suit, performing flawlessly during high-radiation shielding tests. It was a win. Not for Elon, not even for SpaceX. It was a win for a city that had once teetered on collapse. It was a win for a generation that had decided to fight back with knowledge, innovation, and heart. On Earth, Los Angeles moved with cautious optimism. The expansion of the innovation hub was in full swing, reaching previously ignored zones in the southern districts. The girl who had recorded that now famous video from beneath the crumbling overpass. Her name was Jada, was now part of the Youth Innovation Council, helping shape future urban development models alongside Elon's engineers. Her ideas were raw but full of purpose. Solar street lamps designed as trees that also collected water. Modular, portable libraries powered by bike energy. Elon didn't edit her ideas. He funded them. He gave them space to breathe. Maya's influence had never been stronger. She'd become not just a leader within the hub but a connector between worlds, between tech and tradition, between speed and patience. Her partnership with Elon evolved into a seamless rhythm. They didn't always agree, but they understood each other's roles. He brought the stars, she kept their feet on the ground. The chapter shifted to the international response. The UN called Los Angeles a living blueprint. Cities like Jakarta, Cape Town, and Sao Paulo sent delegations. Elon offered open-source access to the hub's infrastructure models. This wasn't about monopoly. It was about replication. If we don't share this, he said in a press interview, then it dies with us. And still, resistance lingered. Protests continued, albeit smaller, but no less passionate. Some accused Elon of building a technocratic state. Others saw danger in a private citizen wielding such influence. Elon didn't silence them. He invited them. A roundtable was formed, televised weekly, featuring critics, supporters, residents, and policymakers. Nothing was off-limits. That transparency, risky as it was, began changing hearts. A breakthrough came when an experimental fusion generator installed in the hub achieved stable containment for 48 hours. It was the most promising step toward clean, near-infinite energy the city, or the world, had seen. The narrative described the moment with cinematic tension. Scientists cried. Reporters gasped. Elon simply closed his eyes, took a breath, and whispered, "Finally." But the win was not without consequence. The system, still in early development, caused a localized energy surge. Several households lost power. A school's server crashed, wiping out a week's worth of student data. The media seized on it. Elon didn't spin the story. He showed up to the affected school the next morning, sat with the students, and listened. He offered not just an apology but a team of engineers to recover every lost file and double the school's digital capacity. It wasn't perfect. But it was human. The chapter turned personal again when Elon received word from his son, X, now a teenager living part-time in Texas. They hadn't spoken much recently. The boy asked to visit the hub, not as a Musk, but as a student. Elon agreed without hesitation. When they met on a quiet Sunday afternoon, it wasn't a dramatic reunion. It was quiet, real. X asked hard questions. Do you think this is what people need, or what you need to prove? Elon didn't answer right away. He walked him through the hub, showed him the failures as well as the triumphs. They stood on a rooftop garden looking out at the solar-lit cityscape. I don't know, Elon said honestly. Maybe both. Maybe that's okay. As the Mars module entered its final operational phase, a technical glitch emerged. Oxygen recycling levels dipped slightly, not dangerously, but enough to force a full systems check. The crew handled it flawlessly, but it reignited global discussions about space readiness. Elon convened his senior team, proposing new redundancies and post-mission psychological evaluations. This wasn't about speed anymore. It was about sustainability. And integrity. Back on Earth, Jada's first public prototype, the solar tree lamp, was installed in a plaza near her old neighborhood. The story captured the moment in full emotional detail. She cried. Her mother cried. Elon attended but stood in the back. It wasn't his spotlight. It never had been. The mural on the wall behind the plaza now read, "We used to wish on stars. Now we build them." Maya organized a gathering with international youth leaders. They met in the heart of the hub, surrounded by innovations once considered science fiction, vertical farms, drone-based emergency medics, VR-assisted classrooms. They came not to marvel, but to plan. Maya opened the summit with these words, "The future isn't a place we wait for. It's a place we build." Elon smiled. It was exactly what he'd hoped to hear, but from someone else's voice. As the Mars module prepared to return to Earth orbit for final recovery, the astronauts sent a joint message. Not a report. Not a summary. A message. We are not alone up here. We feel every heartbeat down there. Every voice. Every act of courage. This isn't just a mission. It's a mirror. That night, Elon stood alone atop the central hub tower, looking out over Los Angeles. The skyline shimmered. A city that once trembled with anger, fear, and hopelessness now pulsed with determination. His mind drifted to Mars. Not as an escape, but as a goal to remind humanity how much it could grow. The air was still. The stars were clear. The journey was far from over, but one thing was certain, it had truly begun. Elon's private journal, a sentence written years ago and rediscovered by accident, "One day, they won't remember my name. But they'll live in the world we imagined. And that will be enough." Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?